It started on one of those hot Saturdays where the pavement feels like it's breathing heat back at you, the kind of day where folks just want to get their errands done and head home. The parking lot outside Briarwood Mall was packed carts, rattling kids tugging on parents' hands, people carrying bags of clothes and groceries. And then in the middle of all that ordinary noise, the sound shifted because two cops were dragging a bleeding black man like he was nothing but a trophy they'd hunted down. His shirt had been light gray, you could tell by the collar, but across the chest and down toward his belt, it was soaked dark with blood. His wrists were locked tight in steel cuffs, and he walked stiff like every push a yank was meant to strip away not just his balance, but his dignity. Officer Darren Cole, square-jawed, buzz-cut, the kind of guy who strutted like the badge on his chest, gave him license to sneer at the world, shoved him hard between the shoulder blades. Thought you could walk away. Not today! Cole barked spit, catching the sun as it flew. His partner, Officer Brent Maddox, was no quieter. You're done. Just another thug who thought he could play slick. Look at him. He gripped the man's arm tight enough to bruise, then grinned at the people starting to stop and watch. Handcuffed, bloodied, head down, textbook criminal. And you wonder why we do what we do. Some people in the crowd whispered, some pulled out phones, but nobody stepped closer. Not yet. The man didn't say a word. His hair, salted with gray, glistened with sweat under the sun. His face was calm, too calm. It wasn't fear, wasn't guilt. It was heavier, a silence that said more than any outburst ever could. He stumbled once as Cole shoved him again, and Maddox laughed loud and sharp. Then a voice cut through it all. Daddy! She came running out from between two cars. Little girl, maybe 8 years old. Sneakers, half untied, pink shirt, dusty from play braids, or bouncing as she sprinted. She ran straight into the mess, planting herself in front of two armed officers without hesitation. Tears streaked her cheeks, but her chin was set like stone. Let him go, she screamed, arms out wide like she could somehow shield him with her tiny frame. Cole's sneer twisted deeper. Move, kid, this ain't your business. It is my business. Her voice cracked, but she didn't flinch. That's my daddy. The crowd gasped. Phones lifted higher. Someone muttered, that's his little girl. But still, nobody moved in. They were waiting, watching as if afraid of what would happen next. Maddox leaned down, lowering his voice, but loud enough for everyone to hear. Your daddy's a criminal, a lowlife. You don't want to see what comes next. Move aside. Her lip trembled, but she stood straighter, shaking with fury. He's not a criminal. He's... Shut up, Maddox snapped, yanking the man's shoulder, digging his fingers deep into bone. This fool's got you fooled, kid. Thinking he's some kind of hero. He disgusts me. Cole shoved him again, laughing harder now. Too scared to talk, huh? Guess all that tough guy act is gone. The little girl balled her fists. She looked at them like she was staring at monsters. And then she shouted so loud her voice nearly broke. He's your boss. World seemed to freeze. Even the cicadas buzzing around the light poles went quiet. The smirks dropped right off their faces. Someone in the crowd whispered, what did she just say? The girl reached into her pocket, pulled out something shiny, and held it high with both hands, her voice cracking as she screamed, my daddy is the chief of police. Gasps rippled through the parking lot. People started pointing, murmuring. Cars idled louder. Phones zoomed in closer. Maddox went pale. Cole blinked fast, sweat sliding down his temple. The man, silent until now, finally lifted his head. His eyes locked on both officers. That look wasn't loud, wasn't even angry, but it cut straight through them. A look that said, you've made a mistake, you'll never live down. His daughter clutched the badge against her chest, sobbing. From the crowd, a voice rang out. That's Chief Marcus Ellison. Everybody knows him, 30 years on the force. More voices followed. Decorated twice. Saved a kid from a fire. He's the highest-ranking cop in the county. The two officers stumbled back, but the cuffs were still locked around his wrists, his shirt still soaked with blood. Cole's voice cracked as he tried to salvage the moment. We didn't know. Marcus finally spoke, his voice, low, calm, heavy like a storm rolling in. You didn't want to know. You saw a black man bleeding, and that was enough. The crowd roared in anger. Uncuff him. Shame, disgrace. Maddox fumbled for the keys, hand shaking so badly he dropped them twice before finally freeing the cuffs. The steel snapped open. Marcus rubbed his raw wrists, red marks carved deep in his skin. He didn't gloat, didn't shout. He turned to his daughter, knelt down, brushed her cheek with his blood-stained hand. It's all right, baby, he whispered. No, it's not, she sobbed. They hurt you. They called you names. Cameras flashed. The officers froze like statues, their careers dissolving in real time. The crowd surged forward now, no longer just spectators, but witnesses. Marcus stood tall, towering even with blood staining his shirt. His voice carried across the lot. You want to know what power looks like? It's not in the badge on your chest. It's in how you treat people when no one's watching. The lot erupted, cheers, shouts, applause. The two officers shrank back, pale and sweating. His daughter tugged his hand, her little voice breaking the air. Daddy, why did they hurt you if you're the boss? That question cracked more hearts than any speech. Marcus knelt again, holding her gaze so the crowd heard every word. Because sometimes baby people don't see the man. They only see the color. And when they choose not to see the man, they forget his worth. The crowd fell silent, many lowering their heads. Some wiped tears, some clenched their jaws. Reporters had arrived, cameras rolling. This wasn't just a scene, it was history being broadcast live. The chants began. Fire them, lock them up. The sound rolled like thunder. Marcus raised his hand and the noise softened instantly. His presence commanded more than any siren could. No, he said firmly, we don't answer hate with hate. We don't answer violence with revenge. But make no mistake, justice will answer them. Cole's lips trembled. Maddox whispered something like a prayer. Their eyes said it all. Their uniforms would be gone by nightfall. Marcus turned to them one final time. His voice was cold now, stripped of mercy. You thought I was powerless. Just another man to drag across the pavement. But the badge I wear isn't what makes me powerful. It's the trust of this community. And today you lost it forever. Then he took his daughter's hand and began to walk. The crowd parted in silence, not out of fear, but out of respect. Mothers pulled their children close. Young men stood straighter. Elderly women whispered blessings. Every step was filmed, every breath documented. At his car, Marcus turned one last time. His voice carried like a sermon. Remember this, the uniform doesn't give you honor. The badge doesn't make you just. What makes you honorable, what makes you just, is how you treat the man who cannot fight back. Forget that and you've already lost. The lot exploded in cheers, tears, chants of his name. Cole and Maddox stood small, broken shadows in the glare of the sun. Marcus bent down, placed his hand gently on his daughter's head and whispered, we don't wear the badge to rule. We wear it to protect. And that was the moment the world shifted. A bloody shirt, a child's cry, and a truth too heavy to ignore. So now I'll leave it with you. What do you think if he hadn't been the chief, if he had just been another man in cuffs? Would anyone have cared? Would anyone have stepped in? Drop your thoughts in the comments because the fight for dignity, for justice, for truth, it doesn't end with one story. It starts with all of us.